Hi there, it's Debbie from celestialastrologyhealing.co.uk, and today I'm talking about the full moon in Taurus at 24 degrees on the 15th of November. So this is a full moon where the sun is at 24 degrees Scorpio, and at all full moons there's an opposition. So this is where the moon is in Taurus. So these are both fixed elements. Taurus being fixed earth, ruled by Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and harmony. She enjoys pleasures and stability. And Taurus is really about that sort of sense of needing security and recognizing what our limits, what our values are in life. And Scorpio is more intense, it's fixed water, and this is more passionate. But again, it raises the topics of security, your deep feelings. And these are also houses that are related to finances and resources. So welcome to my channel if you're new here. I usually do a couple of videos a month on the new and full moons and sometimes in between, but my passion really lies in doing personal birth charts. So get in touch below if you're interested in a reading. I really welcome you to subscribe to my channel if you are new here, and welcome to people that have already subscribed or not unsubscribed. Sometimes I get a bit glitchy when I do these recordings. It's all self-taught. I've only been doing them for a year or so. And it really helps if you can leave a comment below if anything resonates, share and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away a free reading. So thanks very much. So I'm going to bring up some imagery, which is what I usually like to start with. I like to show some images of what Taurus represents and also Venus, the ruler of Taurus, at this time of the lunation. Then I will share a chart of the heavens, and then I will timestamp so you can actually move ahead. If you look at the more button below in the comments, there'll be areas where it's highlighted for your different sign of the zodiac, so you can actually scroll along after listening to the introduction. So you don't need to listen to the whole video. But if you can listen to the beginning, this is where you get the real theme of what's happening in the heavens, which is affecting us all, but it depends on where the Taurus and Scorpio houses are in your chart. So bear with me while I share some imagery. So first of all, I'd like to start with this lovely image here. You can see the full moon radiating the light in the sky, and this is representing reflection of the sun at full moon. So the moon is at its fullest, and it can be bring into fruition topics that may have started around the new moon, which was on the 8th of May or thereabouts for you. So if you can reflect back, if you use the moon for intentions, the new moon in Taurus was the 8th of May this year, where the sun and the moon were conjoined at 18 degrees. So Taurus is the sign of the bull. There's a solidity about the image of Taurus. It's a yin, as in feminine, receptive earth sign of the zodiac, fixed earth sign. And there is that solid, weighty feeling around the bull. And if you think about the bull, they're resilient, they're stubborn, they're grounded, very much grounded, quite practical energies. And because it's a fixed sign of the zodiac, there's an element of stubbornness or rigidity around perhaps some themes that may be coming up for us during this full moon, which is when the sun, as I was saying, is opposite the fixed water sign of Taurus. It's just another image of the bull here because it's Taurus full moon. We usually only get one full moon in each sign of the zodiac throughout the lunar year, the cycles of the lunar year. However, sometimes we do get a second full moon, and that's called the blue moon. And here's another image of Taurus and Venus, the goddess of love. And there's a wee symbol, I believe, of, well, it looks to me like the Coptic cross, a symbol of Venus, the feminine principle. And here's another image. Here's Taurus, the glyph. It's a circle with these horns on the top of the head. That's the symbol or the glyph of Taurus. And Venus is the goddess of love. So what she represents in all of our birth charts is how we find pleasures in life, what our values are, how we interact with others. And she represents union and peace, harmony, She would be the goddess of dance, music, good food, you know, anything that is sensually pleasurable, tactile, physical touch. Sometimes the shadow side can be lust and vanity. And I've also created a couple of AI images here just because I fancied playing around. We can't really avoid this Pluto into Aquarius. So this is, I put in something like Venus, the goddess of love, earthy, practical. And this is what's been brought up by the AI artwork. Because Venus is the ruler of this lunation, and she's in Capricorn, which is a cardinal yin earth sign of the zodiac. So that's why I wanted to bring up that. So Venus is in quite a practical temple of Saturn's joy at this time. Well, when I say Saturn's joy, it's not Saturn's joy, but Saturn rules Capricorn, which is where Venus is, and she is governing this full moon. And she actually sees this moon by a whole sign trine. So if you bear with me, I'll bring up the chart of the heavens. When Venus is in Capricorn, she's very grounded and practical. She appreciates hard work and resilience, using ideas for the long term. And as I was saying, Taurus is about what we value and our securities. And so it can highlight these things depending on where this Taurus and Scorpio dynamic, the polarities of the opposition of the sun and the moon, are working in your own personal birth chart. And also, if you have any planets between, I give a 3-degree orb. So any planets between 21 degrees and 27 degrees of the fixed signs, you may feel this lunation stronger, because the moon does represent our emotions as well. So bear with me. I'll just try to stop this share. So this is a chart of the heavens at the time of the full moon. I'm here in Scotland in the UK, so it's at 21:28, that's GMT. So if you are west of the UK, this would be happening perhaps in the early hours of the 16th of November. But for us in the UK, it's the 15th of November in the evening time. So let me just point out some things in the chart that are relevant at the time of this full moon. As I was saying, the sun is always opposite the moon. So this is a Scorpio season. Let me just go around the wheel for those that are interested in learning astrology. At the 9 o'clock position, this would be the ascendant point. And then we go anti-clockwise around the wheel. Sorry if you are advanced and this seems like, you know, joining the dots, but it's helpful for people to learn. And so Aquarius is at the 9 o'clock position. So it's Aquarius ascendant actually at the time of this exactitude in the UK. Then there's Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, where the sun is, Sagittarius, Capricorn. So those are called the glyphs of the signs of the zodiac around the area. I would like to say like the candles on a cake. And then you can see all these segments, and there's 12 segments. There's 6 segments below, and each segment is called a house. There's the first house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. So they're the houses in astrology. So if you were, or if you are, you know your time of birth and you know your ascendant, I recommend using the whole sign house system. And this chart would be accurate for you if you are a Aquarius ascendant. But when you listen to the delineations, you can listen in for your sun, your moon, and your ascendant to see which resonates for you the most. But you can see if you are an Aquarian that this would be a very dynamic full moon, because the moon is in the 4th house of home and family, opposite the sun in the 10th house of public visibility. But anyway, I'll go into that later. So let me point out what I was talking about. We've got the sun up here at 24 degrees exactly in Scorpio. Full moons are always when the moon is exactly opposite. So we have the moon at 24 degrees Taurus. And what we can see quite clearly is that Uranus, the disruptor, the awakener, the truth finder, the destabilizer, the bringer of truth, honesty, new ideas, innovation, excitement, but also sometimes chaos. The moon is conjoined by Uranus. So Uranus is at 25 degrees, so within a 1 degree, 17-minute orb. So this is going to bring some potential destabilization or unpredictable events which may be rising, and we may feel them personally, because the moon is about our feelings and our emotions and our inner landscape. And in mundane astrology, which is about the astrology of the world at large, the moon represents the people. I'm not really an expert. I don't really work doing a lot of mundane astrology, but, you know, following the American election, the USA election, Uranus conjoined with the moon may highlight quite a lot of unexpected changes coming to light, either at the time of the full moon or in the 2 weeks following the full moon. So I just thought I'd point that out. So you can't get away from that. So just be aware of how your feelings may be heightened at this time, because it's a fixed sign, it's passionate, it's intense, it brings up feelings of security in Taurus. Taurus wants to keep things the same and safe, and Uranus has been in this sign of Taurus for some time now. Let me just double check my notes, but he has been throwing in the curved ball for years now. You can see he's at the 25th degree, 17 minutes retrograde at the moment. So Uranus moved into Taurus on the 15th of May, 2018, and will still be in the sign of Taurus until the 6th of July, 2025. So, yeah, on the 7th of July, that's when he ingresses into Gemini. Uranus stationed retrograde on the 1st of September at 27 degrees. 27 degrees, 15 minutes, and will station direct on the 29th of January at 23 degrees. So you can see he's just gone back a couple of degrees there. In fact, most of the planets, the outer planets, are retrograde at the moment. The only planets that aren't retrograde are Pluto, which is a very dynamic force here for everybody, at the anaretic degree, 29 degrees Capricorn, 55. Pluto is encouraging us to tie up ends in whatever the Capricorn house is for us in our own personal birth charts. And this is called a critical degree. When a planet is at the 29th degree, there's only 5 minutes left before Pluto shifts back into Aquarius. And this should be around the 20th of November, where he'll stay for the next 20 years. So we're all being encouraged to purge out, recognize our power, face suppressed things below within us, wherever this Capricorn house is in our chart. So Pluto is direct at this time. And also, I'm sure it is, let me just double check. Venus is direct at this time. Just checking my notes. Yeah, Pluto's direct and Venus is direct, because if you look at, well, Mercury is an inner planet. Mercury is direct at the moment. We'll be going retrograde soon. Oh yeah, and Uranus, Neptune is retrograde at 27 degrees 16. Jupiter is retrograde. Mars is an inner planet. Mars is going direct for the short term. We'll be going retrograde shortly. But Saturn, this is another really important part of the chart for this new moon. Saturn here is stationing. Where you see this S, that means that Saturn has been retrograde and he's like slowing to this point before he starts moving forward in the heavens. So this is really, really quite dynamic. When a planet stations retrograde, it's likened to a massive liner ship in the sea, massive, big, slow moving, coming to a standpoint. So it moves very slowly at this point, but it can focus in on that Pisces area of our charts, where Saturn is at 12 degrees 41 Pisces. So Saturn retrograded at 19 degrees Pisces and has gone back about 7 degrees around the 29th, 30th of June. And now Saturn will be moving forward and will ingress into Aries on the 25th of May 2025. But Saturn will not be clearing the shadow period until February next year, where he's stationed retrograde. So Saturn has a bearing on this chart. Saturn rules the Venus position because Saturn rules Capricorn. So Venus is in Saturn's temple at this time. And there is a whole sign sextile. That means it's seen, the planets see each other by the houses rather than degrees at this time. So is there anything else I've got to say about this? Saturn and Pluto are the only outer direct planets. Yeah, we also have some helpful aspects between Jupiter at 19 degrees Gemini. Let's find Jupiter. The expansive planet, planet of good fortune, growth, breadth of vision, travel, retrograde at the moment at 19 degrees Gemini, but in a sextile to Chiron at 19 degrees Aries. So both of these planets are going retrograde. The sextile is the nature of Venus. There's harmony between some ideas that Jupiter in Gemini is many ideas, and Chiron in Aries is about healing the wounds that we have around our own sense of self-worth and abilities to do things on our own terms. So both of these planets are moving retrograde at this time. So there can be some reflections. Whenever planets are moving backwards, it's a time of reviewing, reflecting, revisiting, and just, going back over old ground before you can actually move forward with new ideas. There is another sextile. I don't really work with dark moon Lilith, but I have put her in. She's a point in the sky. Mercury at 16 degrees Sagittarius is sextile dark moon Lilith. I've put, oh yeah, because dark moon Lilith is actually up here at 15 degrees Libra. So I believe dark moon Lilith represents some deep, powerful, intense energies related to the feminine, wounds around feminine. I don't really work with her too much. I know that she's somewhere significant in my own chart, but you can look into what dark moon Lilith represents. But there is a sextile aspect, again, between the planet of communication, Mercury, moving direct at the moment in Sagittarius, and dark moon Lilith in Libra, in the temple of Venus. So there's something around your interactions with others, communications, ideas, and something around some sort of harmony, healing some dark, painful issues around the dark feminine sides of ourselves. So that's, I think, everything. Again, press like and subscribe. I'm now going into the different signs of the zodiac, just giving very brief delineations. That means interpretations. So I will move on the chart now to Aries ascendant and just briefly see where this is happening in your charts, Aries. So Aries, welcome to your full moon in Taurus interpretation. We are looking at the moon in the second house of Taurus at 24 degrees opposite the sun at 24 Scorpio. So these houses are both around topics of your personal resources, your own skills, your own self-worth, your own abilities, how you can make finances and create security in this Taurian area of your life. And then you've got Uranus, the disruptor here, maybe bringing in some positive energies, who knows, some sense of personal rebellion and independence, opposite the sun in Scorpio, which is related to money from others or joint finances. So with any opposition, there's always the necessity to try to find balance between these opposites, which are the nature, the opposition is the nature of Saturn, the most distant planet of the solar system, because with the naked eye, Saturn was the last planet that could be seen. So it's around boundaries, balance, finding some sort of recognition about your own self-worth and how that works with others in more intimate relationships. And just looking at where your ruler is, Mars is your ruler, and he is in Leo in your 5th house of pleasures, in Venus's joy. So you can be quite dynamic in any entrepreneurial pursuits at this time. And Venus is up in the 10th house here, which is an angular part of the chart, which is directly above at midday. So she's bringing a sense of using practical ideas and a sense of purposefulness for the long term. You know, she enjoys the sense of hard work, and Capricorn is very much a resilient, hardworking, enduring earth sign of the zodiac, quite good at using your own ideas as well. And as an Aries, you would recognize how important that is for you. So see how that feels, and ideas that you may have planted around the new moon, which was on the 8th of May, may be coming more to light at this time, or sort of endings, because the full moon brings things to high visibility. So see how that feels for you, Aries, and I hope that's helpful. Leave a comment below, and thanks for listening. Hi there, Taurus. This is your full moon in Taurus short delineation at this time on the 15th of November. So as a Taurus, you have the moon in your angular first house opposite the sun in your 7th house. Now, these are very dynamic angles of the chart. So these are very, very powerful points in the heavens at this time. For you, Taurus, you've had the moon, sorry, not the moon, Uranus in Taurus for, well, since, let me just double check my notes, since the 15th of May, 2018, and Uranus is going to be in your first house till the 6th of July, 2025, bringing lots of change to you, bringing up, stirring up new ideas, innovative thoughts, sense of rebellion, sense of independence, breaking down old ways, how you can express yourself, because the first house is about you. Not all the areas of the chart are just about you, but the first house in ancient astrology was known to be the helm of the ship. It's where you're in control of doing things. So the moon is really highlighting a lot of dynamics between the Scorpio house of personal relationships and intimacy, remembering that Scorpio is a fixed water sign and is intense. It's about deep feelings, things that are really running deep within your close and personal relationships, and how that can be expressed, coming to a fruition, coming to a point of really being seen at this time of the full moon. Topics that may have begun around the 8th of May, 2024 may also be coming up to real height of either completion, endings, or real visibility at this time. And Venus, the goddess of love who rules you and rules this lunation, is up here in your 9th house of your higher mind, your belief system, what makes sense to you. So there's a sense maybe of you changing your philosophies in life or trying to work things out in a way that, you know, for the long term can nourish you and your ideas of your purpose in life, your spiritual path, perhaps, anything that widens your mind and enriches you. So I hope that's helpful for you, Taurus, and thank you for listening. Hi there, Gemini. This is your full moon in Taurus short delineation. So we can see that the moon is in your 12th house, which is known as Saturn's joy. It's a place of deep retreat, behind the scenes, your hidden world, your subconscious world, your dream world, your spiritual inclinations, things that you do behind the scenes away from the public eye. This is a place what was known in ancient astrology as Saturn's joy, and Saturn, being the distant planet of the solar system, is housing, this area of Saturn's joy is a hidden place of retreat away from the public eye where you are processing lots of deep things on an inner level. It can be the house of self-undoing, so it can relate to fears and feeling out of control because you're the furthest away from the first house as we go anti-clockwise around the wheel. By the time we get to the 12th house where the moon is at 24 degrees Taurus, you're in a place where you feel that maybe you're not so as in control as you would like to feel. And sometimes it's necessary to reflect and break some habits that may habits that you repeatedly do that aren't helpful for you, or begin projects and topics that are spiritually rejuvenating for you. And Uranus is throwing in a curved ball here, breaking down some structures, stimulating lots of different deep feelings as well. And we have the sun at 24 degrees Scorpio in the place which was known as Mars's joy. So these are both the malefic planets in ancient times. The 6th house, Scorpio, is really related to your daily life, work, routines, rituals, service to others. So you may be really reflecting deeply into your hidden area that's maybe not expressed so much around these topics, because Scorpio feels these things very, very deeply. Scorpio is quite private. So, there could be some powerful feelings that are being generated at the time of this full moon in Taurus. And there's a need to find balance between your everyday life, how you do things, and how you can also nourish yourself, which is really important as well. Your ruler is Mercury, which is in your 7th house of personal relationships, in exile away from the house of Gemini, which Mercury rules. Mercury may represent your partner if you're in a relationship, with a sense of there's lots of expansion and growth and lots of ideas of travel, or breadth of vision here, with the Sagittarian influence here. And Venus, the ruler of this full moon in Taurus, is in your 8th house of Capricorn, which highlights your joint finances, topics around the long term, perhaps, if you're in a relationship, or it's about the views of others that hold you in high esteem. Can highlight anxieties and fears as well, because the 8th house is about transformation. So see how that resonates with you, Geminis, and thank you for listening. Leave a comment below if you're able to. I would really appreciate that. That helps the algorithm and for more people to find me. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a free reading. Thank you very much. So Cancer, this is your full moon in Taurus, short delineation. And as we can see, we have the moon conjoined with Uranus. So the disruptor, the awakener, the truth finder, up here in your 11th house of Taurus at 24 degrees, opposite the sun at 24 degrees Scorpio in the opposite house. So the 11th house in ancient astrology was known to be the house of Jupiter's joy. So he's the greater benefic planet, the largest planet of the solar system, the one that represents our sense of good fortune, our dreams, our long-term wishes. And that is very much this house, the 11th house. It's also known to be the house of benefactors and allies that support you. So this moon can represent groups and networks in your community, your tribe, your family, in environments that you interact and share similar perspectives. But there could be some disruptions to something going on up here, topics that may have begun around the 8th of May, when there was a new moon in Taurus at 18 degrees, maybe come into a head at this point, because we just don't know what to expect with Uranus, but it can break down things, or it may illuminate us and bring some honesty or some reality or rebellion to these topics. And also the sun is in the house which was known as Venus's joy, which is the house of your own pleasures. So Cancerians, is about recognizing your own pleasures and how you can find balance with this. Your own pleasures may be hidden away because you do so much in groups. So it's a time of great reflection. The moon is your ruler. She's in Taurus, which is an exalted position, loving to have a sense of security and stability, but Uranus is definitely throwing in the curved ball here. So we really don't know how that can disrupt, but just go with the flow. And Venus is in a dynamic house for you, the 7th house of your close and personal relationships, in the earthy cardinal sign of Capricorn. So you may be reflecting on values that are important for you. It may be about relationships that you carve out in your business world if you're not in a relationship, or you may be reflecting upon your interactions with your partner. If you're within an intimate relationship, romantic relationship, and looking at topics of what they bring to the table and long-term future issues there. So thank you for listening, Cancer, and leave a comment below if any of that resonates with you. Hey there, Leo. This is your full moon in Taurus chart delineation. This is a very dynamic activation for you because you have the moon at 24 degrees Taurus in the 10th house of visibility, public visibility up here. This was known to be the house of praxis and action, and it represents how you are seen in the outside world, your public reputation, your vocations, your social status. This is all being highlighted at the time of this full moon on the 15th of November, conjoined with the awakener, the disruptor, the truth finder, Uranus bringing in the curved ball here. So there's maybe some uncertainty about what might happen. There could be some suddenly unexpected events that happen for you, and topics that may have begun around the new moon, which was on the 8th of May, 2024, maybe come into light or come into an ending point for you at the full moon. And the sun is in your very dynamic house. Again, it's one of the angles of the chart, the 4th house of home and family. Feelings may run very deeply here for you, Leos, because this Scorpion house is very, very passionate, has intense feelings, fixed water, hidden perhaps, but they go deep. Your very powerful feelings. And remember that the shadow side of Scorpio can be insecurity, possessiveness, jealousy, resentment. So it's trying to find balance between these topics in your life of home and family and how you're seen in the public eye. Your ruler is the sun, and the sun is in Scorpio at this time of year, every time of year that, we're at this point, Scorpio season. And Venus, the goddess of love, is in your 6th house of your daily life, work and duties, compassion, service to others. So there is a sense, and it also can relate to your own health as well, the 6th house of Saturn, of Mars's joy. Capricorn brings a sense of recognizing the importance of structure, routines, plans that can roll out for the long term. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. He is Kronos, Lord of Time, and he encourages us to develop and master our skills and recognize our limitations. So see how that resonates with you, Leos, and thank you very much for listening. Hi there, Virgos. This is your full moon in Taurus short delineation. So as we can see, we have the moon up here. Let me just get my annotate tool. The moon's at 24 degrees Taurus, and this is in your 9th house of your belief system, your higher mind, your spiritual ideas, your philosophies in life. It also can represent topics that are related to overseas travels or solar figures that can make decisions for you if you're involved in any legal matters. So the moon up here is conjoined with Uranus, which can bring some unexpected shocks, or at the same time destabilization, or sometimes excitement and new ideas that can come in a way that just like breaks, just sudden lightning bolts of energy that come to you. And it's opposite the 3rd house. So this house was called, the 9th house is the joy of the sun and the house of God. And your sun, the sun is opposite at 24 degrees Scorpio in the house of the goddess and the joy of the moon. So there's these masculine, feminine principles going on around your daily life, your communications, your interactions with others, your journeys, your roles, how you communicate with others, can highlight topics of distant relatives and siblings, or friends that you would treat as family. So there's a sense of needing to find some balance here. And at the time of this full moon for you, Virgos. So being aware, you've got this Uranus activation with your moon, so your emotions may run high, and any topics that began around the 8th of May 2024, when there was a new moon in Taurus, may be coming to a sense of ending or completion or high visibility. So your ruler is Mercury. Mercury is in Saggitarius in the 4th house here of home and family. So there is a sense of trying to work out things in a broad-minded manner with hope and optimism around topics of home and family, the land and property, your lineage, things like that. And Venus, the goddess of love, who rules this lunation, is in your 5th house of pleasures, creativity. So Venus is in Venus's joy. This is the 5th house of Venus's joy. Venus is here, but she's a little bit cooler and more practical, and she appreciates more grounded ideas. She appreciates hard work and resilience and, you know, a sense of productivity and practicality. This could relate to your personal relationships, like romantic relationships, but it could also be around topics of entrepreneurship, ideas that you've got to bring to the fore, or it also may be related to children. So there's sort of reality checks going on there because Saturn is the rule of Capricorn. So let me know if any of that resonates for you, Virgos, and thank you very much for listening. Hi there, Libra. This is your full moon in Taurus, short interpretation, astrological interpretation. And as we can see, we have the moon at 24 degrees Taurus in your 8th house of shared resources, money from others, intimacy, deep transformation, and also related to anxieties and fears and money, that chunks of money that comes in from others. Could be to do with your daily bills, you know, money that you have to deal with, like mortgages, rents, taxes, but it can also be about endings like death and endings, money that comes in from inheritances. And in ancient astrology, this 8th house was called the esteem of others. So others can reward you, that hold you in high esteem. But there is something unusual, unexpected, potentially shocking that comes in with Uranus conjoined with the moon at 25 degrees, 17 minutes. So very close to the moon, which may bring up some, fears or just take the earth away from beneath you. And this is across the polar opposite of the sun in Scorpio at 24 degrees. In your 2nd house. So this highlights your own skills, your own abilities, your own resources. So you may be reflecting upon these at this time of this full moon. Scorpio is the sign of the scorpion who's got the hard shell and the stinging tail ready for any threat. So there could be a real sense of protection, needing to feel safe and reflecting upon your own skills at this time of this full moon. Because the 2nd house is very much a house about money, finances, security, and the 8th house opposite is about shared resources, shared money, karmic debt, what you bring to the table, what your partner, if you're in a relationship, brings to the table, or otherwise it's just around areas of intimacy. So Venus is your ruler, Libra, and she is in the house of home and family. She's trying to work things out for you in a practical way that can benefit you with long-term goals, because Saturn is the ruler of this temple where Venus is presently in Capricorn at 4 degrees. So Saturn encourages mastery of skills, looking at your responsibilities, working out what you can say no to, and how you can make practical long-term plans for the future. So see how that resonates with you, Libra, and thank you very much for listening. Please press like and share, leave a comment below to help the algorithm, buy me a coffee if you're feeling particularly generous. Thank you so much. Hey there, Scorpio. This is a very powerful full moon in Taurus for you on the 15th of November, because you are one of the dynamic houses where the moon is in your 7th house of Taurus at 24 degrees, opposite your sun at 24 degrees Scorpio. So these are angles of the chart. And whenever we have any planets in the 4th house, 10th house, 1st house, and 7th house, these are the kentrons of the chart, the pivot points. And these make the planets express themselves. And in this case, we've got the luminaries, the sun and the moon, expressing themselves around your sense of spirit, your dynamism, your ambition, your soul's purpose in Scorpio, which is very intense. And then it's highlighting the opposition of your joint relationships, your partnerships, your relationships with others on a very close and personal level. So Taurus and Scorpio are both fixed signs of the zodiac. The moon is highlighting the need to find security within your close and personal relationships. This is very important to you, Scorpio, as these topics, you feel things so deeply and passionately, and emotions can run very high at this full moon, especially as we've got the disruptive or awakening or truth finding innovative planet of Uranus up here, which can affect emotions and possibly cause some emotional volatility within your close and personal relationships. Mars is your ruler, and Mars is directly above in the house of praxis, the 10th house. So again, this is like a really powerful area of your chart. So this is about what you want to be doing in the public sphere of your life, using your own creativity, because Mars is in the fixed fire yang sign of Leo. So that's something about your own abilities, leadership skills perhaps, or personal creativity that you can express in this public sphere of your life. And Venus, the goddess of love, is in your 3rd house here of your everyday life in Capricorn, governed by Saturn, who's stationed direct in your house of pleasures. So there's a lot of energies that are really powerful for you, Scorpio, to balance out. Try and find that balance in your own self-expression, fulfilling your own needs, following your own destiny, and keeping that into some healthy polarity within your relationships with others. So let me know if anything of that resonates with you, Scorpio, and thank you very much for listening. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Thank you for that. Sagittarius, welcome to your full moon in Scorpio video. This full moon is happening across the dynamics of your 6th house, which was known in ancient times as Mars's joy, where the moon is at 24 degrees, Taurus, conjoined with disruptive, awakening, truth-finding, innovative, out the box, thinking differently, rebellious Uranus, in your house of everyday life, service, sometimes work, and also health. So, areas of these topics may come, out of the blue during this full moon or following the full moon in the next couple of weeks. And the sun is in the opposite sign of Scorpio at 24 degrees Scorpio, in the house known as Saturn's joy, your hidden place. So there's a sense of deep reflections or doing things behind the scenes here. And any ideas that may have begun around the new moon in Taurus on the 8th of May at 18 degrees, where the sun and the moon were conjoined, in Taurus here, they may be coming to a fruition point, a completion point, an ending point, or a point of high visibility. Projects that you may have started then may be coming to a point where they can be manifested. You may be manifesting, reaping the rewards of these harvests. So at the time of this full moon, there is a time in Scorpio season. This is highlighting your 12th house. So it is very much about listening in to your inner world, what's really important, that nourishes you on a spiritual way, recognizing habits that maybe aren't helpful for you and beginning practices that are helpful for you, because the sun is always in the house of self-undoing here, but it also can be a house of compassion and behind the scenes work. So your ruler is in Gemini, Jupiter at 19 degrees Gemini, in your house of relationships. So this could highlight topics either about relationships with others, or if you're in a relationship, it could represent your partner and many different ideas that your partner is going through now, things that you might be supporting as well. And Venus, the ruler of this lunation, is in the practical Capricorn house here, your 2nd house of looking at your own skills and resources, abilities, and how you can in the long term make finances or security, because this is about long-term plans, Capricorn. And Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is in your 4th house of home and family. Saturn is just stationing direct. This is a very dynamic house for you. You've had Saturn here bringing you lessons, and since you moved in here, let me double check, it was I think it's March 2023, Saturn moved in Yeah, the 8th of March 2023, Saturn moved into Pisces. Saturn stationed retrograde around the 17th, 18th of June, and is now at the point of starting to move forward with things that may have been difficult for you, or that still are difficult for you, or that you're having to learn to master skills, use your wisdom, learn to say, you know, when enough is enough in the topics around home and family. You may have great responsibility here. You may have to necessitate creating routines that you can work within, because Kronos, Lord of Time, is here. But moving direct, Sagittarius, this is a sense that you can move forward now with some of your reflections. Saturn won't be actually past the point where he retrograded 19 degrees Pisces until February, though. So things will be slow, but you may start being able to reap some of the progress and mastery of what you've been learning and the lessons the taskmaster Saturn brings after February 2025. So thank you very much for listening. Let me know if any of that resonates. It does for me. I'm a Sagittarian ascendant, so I'm reading my own chart though. Hi Capricorn, this is your full moon Taurus short interpretation. So for you Capricorn, we've got the dynamics being activated across your Venus house here of pleasure, where the moon is at 24 degrees Taurus, conjoined with disruptive, exciting, innovative, awakening, truth-finding, rebellious Uranus, you know, so there could be some topics that are coming to fruition here that may be started around the 8th of May at the new moon in Taurus, when the sun and the moon were at 18 degrees. Topics may be coming to fruition here. You may be finding that you can break free, rebel, bring something new to either your close and personal relationships or something around your creativity and pleasures. Could also represent children. If you have children, there could be something unexpected happening around these topics with the moon here in Taurus. Taurus loves stability, pleasures, comfort, beauty, music, dance. All of these things are pleasurable. And Uranus, you know, can disrupt this fixed earth sign. And we have the sun in the opposite house of Jupiter's joy, the benefic, greater benefic planet. So this is really about your long-term goals and wishes. And it also can represent reflecting upon your relationships with others and your social networks, people that support you, that share the same ideas. There's a need to find a balance here between, you know, your social groups and what you do with others and where you find your pleasures in life, Capricorn. And Saturn, the ruler, is stationing direct. Your ruler is stationing direct at 12 degrees Pisces. So Saturn is in your third house. So this is really about how you communicate in and around your community where you live. If you travel, this will be the new community where you'll be interacting with others. Also can represent how you communicate with your distant relatives. Maybe there's been a time of reflection where you haven't really interacted much. Could be with siblings, aunts, uncles, distant relatives like that. But now slowly you can maybe rekindle those connections. It could be about your social media. If you use social media to share your ideas or offer teaching, this could be Saturn now using your skills of mastery, slowly moving direct. So if you've had areas of reflection that you're thinking about, what can I bring to the table for the future? Now you can start implementing them slowly, bearing in mind, though, that Saturn won't move past the post-shadow period until February, because he needs to move past the 19 degrees Pisces point where he retrograded on the 29th, 30th of June. So Venus, the goddess of love who rules this lunation, she is in your first house. So this is actually quite a beautiful position for Venus. Whenever Venus graces us in our first house, this can bring a glow up to how we show up in the world. So you may be taking a bit more time to how you present yourself. You might change your image. You might have your hair done. You might do things differently. But it brings a sense of also practicality and maturity as well around these topics. So I hope that's helpful for your Capricorn. Let me know in the comments below if any of that resonates with you. And leave a comment. That helps the algorithm. Press like, subscribe if you haven't. That really helps my channel to grow. And when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a free reading. Hey there, Aquarius. This is a very powerful full moon in Taurus for you because the dynamics of the moon at 24 degrees Taurus, conjoined with disruptive, awakening, truth-finding, exciting, rebellious Uranus, is in your fourth house of home and family. So these topics are going to be highlighted at the time of the full moon on the 15th of November, but they could, continue to show themselves in the 2 weeks following this full moon. Topics that may have began around the 8th of May 2024 may come to completion or visibility or an ending point or just peaking. Maybe there's going to be some eruptions in your home and family environment to do with topics of mothering or ancestry or your lineage or parenting or to do with property. And the house opposite, this is the fourth house, an angle of the chart. So these planets, the luminary, the moon is speaking really loudly, representing your emotions, your feelings, your inner landscape. Uranus is really disrupting this and, breaking down these fixed feelings. And then the sun is opposite in Scorpio at 24 degrees in the house of praxis, which is really a very, very visible house. So for you, Aquarians, this was always going to be happening around this time of year, this visibility in your public house and your reputations. So this is really important for you to focus on your determination, focus, emotions, sensitivity, passions, and deep feelings, because Scorpio, represents all of these things. And also the dynamic is about, home and family, and also your sense of self and following your dreams, your ambition in the public sphere of life, which can represent your reputation and your social status. And for you, Saturn is stationing direct in your second house of Pisces. So this is really about recognizing your own skills and abilities, your sense of self-worth, around the topics of what you can do using your own mastery and wisdom and skills in your area of life, that you can create your own finances and security. So Saturn had stationed retrograde on the 29th, 30th of June at 19 degrees. Now is stationed at 12 degrees, 41, and will be moving forward. So any ideas that you've had culminate, on the back burner, simmering away during this time of Saturn retrograde over the last few months, you can now start to slowly implement. It might be around recognizing when to say no, because Saturn in Pisces can be very connected with the collective. So it's about boundaries, representing what's missing. And Saturn will move past the shadow period of 19 degrees in February. So then you may be able to really forge forward a wee bit more with these ideas around your own skills. And where is Venus? She's in the hidden house of Capricorn here. So you can have some very deep reflections going on, Aquarius, around your own values, that you may be taking time to listen inward, to your inner wealth, your inner self, in places of retreat, to try and work out how you can implement ideas and use your own skills for the future. So I hope that's helpful for you, Aquarius, and thank you for listening. Please press like it just and leave a comment below if you're able to. Doesn't really take any time, doesn't cost anything, just helps me to show your appreciation. Thank you so much. So last sign of the zodiac, I always call you patient Pisces. Welcome, Pisces. This is your full moon in Scorpio delineation on the 15th of November, where we can see that the moon is in the joy of the moon, the house of the goddess, at 24 degrees Taurus, exactly, conjoined with the Uranus, the disruptor, the innovator, the electrical stimulator, the bringer of truth and awakening, rebellion. This area of life is being highlighted for you, Pisces, around this full moon or in the 2 weeks that follow. around your communications and interactions, your maybe teaching abilities, how you travel in your daily life, how you interact with your siblings, or if you have social media and you present yourself in communications, you may have a lightning bolt moment of inspiration and new ideas that comes forward around this full moon or in the 2 weeks that follow. Ideas that maybe had started around the 8th of May when there was a new moon in Taurus at 19 degrees, may be coming to fruition, or visibility, or a sense of completion, or something progressing at this time. And always at a full moon, we have the opposition of the sun in the opposite house. On this occasion, it's 24 degrees Scorpio. The sun is in the joy of the sun. So you have the moon in the joy of the moon, and you have the sun in the joy of the sun. And this is known to be the house of God, opposite the house of goddess. So there is the necessity to balance some of the polarities of the masculine and feminine at the time of this full moon. The sun in Scorpio is very determined, intense, deep feeling, passionate, and is in the house of your higher mind, the area of life related to your philosophies and spiritualities and your belief system. So that, at this time of year during the Scorpio season, the sun is always going to be gracing this area of your life. So it really is maybe about thinking about following your ambitions. Maybe you are interested in long distance travel or other cultures, or widening your mind through further studies or spiritual paths, pilgrimage, that sort of thing. So there is a need to find balance between your emotional states of the fixed sign of Taurus, which is being like shimmied up, like sugar by this Uranus energy in this area of your third house, opposite the sun in Scorpio up here in your 9th house. The sun up here could also represent teachers or gurus, those that you receive knowledge from as well, depending on your age and your life's path and what you're doing, Pisces. And Pisces, we have a very dynamic, your ruler is in a very dynamic area of life at the moment. And Jupiter is a ruler of your 4th house, and Jupiter is the ancient ruler of you. So Jupiter is activating lots of ideas in this house of Gemini, where he has been since May last year, well, this year. So he's stationed retrograde at the moment. Let me see when he's moving direct. So Jupiter stationed retrograde on the 8th of October at 21 degrees. You can see he's just lost a couple of degrees. And on the 3rd of February 2025, Jupiter will be stationed in direct. So there will be a sense of being able to maybe move forward with some ideas that you are reflecting upon around topics of home and family, land and property, ancestry, remembering that Jupiter has to clear the shadow period. So moving past the 21st degree of Gemini, and that will be on the 25th of April. So that's when you can move forward with any ideas of expansion or growth or changes with these new ideas around Jupiter. So let's just look at where Venus is, the goddess of love. She rules this lunation, and she is up here at 4 degrees in your house of Jupiter's joy, related to your groups of friends, your networks, your communities that support you, and also representing your long-term wishes, because it's the house of Jupiter's joy, the largest planet of the solar system. So he brings a sense of expansion. So in practical Capricorn, this is maybe a time of looking at the importance of some relationships for you, those that are helpful to you, in a practical way. And you also have Saturn stationed direct in your 1st house. So you've got some dynamic areas going on, and you've got Mercury up in your 12th and your 10th house of Sagittarius. So you've got quite a lot of powerful dynamics with Saturn in your 1st house, Jupiter and Mercury in your 4th and 10th house. But Saturn in the 1st house is really, it's quite a somber placement. And you've had Saturn here, sitting here since the 8th of March, 2023. So this is bringing lots of, sometimes it feels like a burden having Saturn in your 1st house, because it is really about sobering up or being more serious or trying to find more mature ways of being or taking on responsibility. So Saturn is encouraging you to continue working on these themes around your own sense of self, responsibility, maturity, and how you can implement these changes. And now Saturn is going to be slowly moving forward through your first house. So anything that you've been gaining some mastery of while you've been reflecting upon this, that will be helpful for you. Saturn will move past the shadow period around February next year. So you may make bigger steps in the future. So I think that's everything there. I don't know how long I've taken. I've tried to whiz through that. So let me just stop the share. So thank you very much for listening. If you're interested in a personal reading, this is where my passion really lies. And in the comments below, I'll list some of my astrology offerings. I've expanded this recently to include spontaneous readings, but I would need your chart details beforehand. Name, date, place, and time of birth. Let me know what sort of reading you're interested in, and I can either do it with you present or just record it for you if I know what you're hoping for me to cover. So thank you so much. And as I'm saying, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube land, and it's really hard work. You know, sometimes it peaks up a bit and then you lose a couple of readers, watchers, listeners, which is fine. But I'm really trying to make this my career for the future. So I really appreciate those that do subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, come for readings, and share my skills with others. So thank you so much. And I hope that this full moon in Scorpio will be something that we can reflect upon our values and importance, but also feel that sense of calmness, groundedness of that Scorpio. While the energies can be disruptive around us, we can always come back to ourselves, to our breath, connecting to the earth, sending down the roots into the earth and give an appreciation for all that we have in our lives, because Scorpio is really about that sense of appreciation and our values. So being full of gratitude is really good at this time, and sending out positivity, love, and light to all beings, and especially those that are suffering. So thank you for listening. Bye for now.